You're not going to learn until you're up and running. When you're up and running, then you go,
No.
oh, now I get it. And then you're going to get the excitement of like 10 minutes after of you've got an ad running. It's like, Mum, look what I've done, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Right. Yeah, you want to put it on the fridge. And the problem that I have certainly is that the Google resources themselves are great in terms of the philosophy and the underlying theory behind why one would advertise or why one would choose search over display or this or that. I get that. And then, like we said, the YouTube aspect is you'll have, all right, learn all you need to know in 4 or 6 hours, but then there'll be 10 of those videos. And then you're thinking, well, first of all, I don't have the 40 to 60 hours to just peruse videos on Google Ads. And then on top of that, I don't know which of these people are reliable. Are they good teachers? Do you know what I mean? And there's billions of videos on YouTube. So like, I don't have time to parse all of that. So finding content like, well, yours in particular, just because I hadn't seen, I think somebody must have put me in touch or told me to link, but I'd seen some of your stuff before. That's why I started following you. And then the more of these little concise bits, especially the trial you ran with the £10 thing, where you could do a really cheap trial, not necessarily to rank number one, but to uncover information behind the market
Yeah.
instead.
Yeah.
That's really valuable to me.
That's not something that Google explains. I've never come across them explain ever that their tool on search on the Google search engine can be used by a business owner to find out what everybody's looking for, so that then you can change your product to match what they're looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
And
so
you know, yeah. And the thing is, like, one of my search criteria or keyword searches would be around, like, let's say journalism jobs, right? But that is so broad, and nobody who's searching for a job as a journalist really is writing journalism jobs, because it's much more nuanced and specific, those types of searches. So even just finding the keywords that are a bit more nuanced for individual, let's say, maybe segments or individual, even just testing that you want to do on a particular cohort, right?
Yep.
To see like, oh, well, do they use these keywords, or can I try this one or whatever, but without breaking the bank. So if I look at my Google ads though, it'll say things like, and even if it'll say something like, and this is where I just get confused then. So it'll say something like, I'll try and, because I tried to do something not quite what you were doing, but similar in the sense that I would put a very low amount in for my daily budget, like €10 or whatever, right? And then I would click all the little bits and follow all the little prompts through and do all that. And then at the end, it would say, oh, your daily average is expected to be €600. I'm like, how does that happen? And multiple other mini problems like that I'm like, okay, well, I can't just launch this and look back in 2 weeks or 3 weeks and it's 600 a day gone. That's my entire marketing budget.
Honestly, their interface,
You know
even
what I
with me
mean?
creating that video, 5-minute video, it's probably slightly out of date in that. No, it's not that even that's out of date. Somebody else would go through it. I've got different client accounts and the interface is slightly different. It's almost like they're split testing and they're trying to get people to do what they want. Spend more. Yeah, yeah. So even that little video, you might want to use manual bidding. I recommend manual bidding at the beginning, where you set the bid price rather than say, Google, go and get as many clicks or conversions as possible for my bid budget. So you set the bid price, but you can't do that when you create the campaign. You have to do it after you create the campaign and go back and edit it. So when they're saying, oh, you're probably going to spend this, just go, okay, right. So I tell people to set a 1 cent budget and a 1 cent bid price, get the campaign created, then go back in and set it how you want it. And if you were to set, right, so someone in your stage where you're like, right, I want to gather data, I'm happy to spend maybe a tenner a day, I would start with a €5 budget a day, because Google could take twice as much as what your budget is. They're going to average a tenner a day. Sorry, throughout the month. That's what you do. So it could take 20 in one day, because they reckon, oh, on a Monday, there's more searches than on a Sunday. And on Sunday, there's hardly anything. So they take the budget from the Sunday to the Monday. But so it's stuff like that they don't tell you. So you just keep a lid on the ad spend with the budget, which is what you're doing. I don't know what that screen was telling you, but they try and put the fear of God into you, or confuse you, or whatever the hell, or get you to use all their smart campaigns and setups. But you want to try and avoid all that. Now, that's stuff about journalism jobs. So you would go to the Google Keyword Planner, which is part, like, if you go to Google Ads account, you go tools and settings, it'll be this Google Keyword Planner. You type in journalism jobs, and maybe you set the location for the UK, and then it will give you estimated monthly search volumes for that phrase, estimated bid prices, which you take with a pinch of salt, and it might give you related searches, and you go, oh, never have thought of that, like freelance journalism gigs or journalism work, how to do all that kind of, all those other phrases that are different, but they're good enough. And then the journalism jobs, maybe that it goes longer tail on that, and it's like, you know, tech journalism jobs, sports journalism jobs, you know, all these different longer tail versions of it. And what I was saying in that article thing, I'm going to create a video version of it, was if you get all those ideas and you will load each one up as a different ad group, and you load the keyword like journalism jobs as, let's say, sports journalism jobs, and then the next, you know, tech journalism jobs, whatever, all those.
Yeah.
So you've got all the keywords, you've got all the ads, and you just run it, and you've got a 10 euro a day budget or €5 a day, then, and you've got maybe a €1 bid price across everything, then you don't necessarily have to, right? You'll may get a few clicks if there's people searching, and if they click your ad, then you have some spend. But if there's nobody searching at all, or your bids are too low, you get no spend. So it kind of fails safe. It's like, oh, that didn't work, let's try something else. Or you go, let me increase the bids to €5 and just see if that was a problem. And you still get no volume. It's like, oh, nobody's really searching for that in that area that I'm targeting. Okay, fine, back to the drawing board, try something else. But you haven't spent anything. Or you go, whoa, there's a load of people searching for, and it's sports journalism jobs, not the crypto journalism jobs or the whatever. So and right, so you get the impressions, which is the ads showing. You don't pay for impressions, you pay for when they click on the ad. But if you get the impression stats, it can tell you go, oh wow, as a business owner, that's really interesting. A lot of people searching for that. And what I was saying in that little carousel I did on LinkedIn, not only do you get the impression data, but there's a column called impression share, which is hidden.
This is what I didn't get.
Yeah, there's it. Okay, so I will do another carousel. I was thinking, what should I do next? A carousel on how to find the impression share. Yeah, it's a hidden column in that it's not a default one. You have to unhide it. But once it's there, if you say that in a week, you look at your stats and go, oh, crypto journalism jobs had 100 impressions. That means your ad showed 100 times. And the impression share was 25%. That means you only showed 25% of the time you could have done. You're like, oh, they were probably 400 searches for that. Yeah. I only added 25% impression share.
And they would only, sorry, so Google would increase your share if you have an increased budget. Is that
Possibly,
it? Or if you hit your limit or whatever.
Either increase your budget or increase your bids. Sometimes you don't show because you're not bidding enough. Yeah. So the competitors,
is that because you've set too low a bid amount, as in like a max bid?
It's called your rank, and your rank is your bid price times your quality score. Like, but I will just say, if you bid more, you'll get that. More often. So, and those are other metrics. Google will tell you can unhide those metrics. How much have you lost due to your budget? How much impression share have you lost due to your budget? How much impression share have you lost due to your rank? And you go, oh, look, my budget of €10 a day, I lost 80%. Sorry, I lost 8% impression share due to my budget. Whoa. So at that current bid price, I could increase my budget by, 8 times, 10 times, whatever, and I get exponentially more volume than I'm currently doing, but for the same bid price, potentially. So you get all that stats. All those stats are in your Google Ads account. If you just can get a campaign up and running and start getting some volume. But most people, you don't learn from doing those 4 hours videos. You literally learn by creating a campaign, and then you've got to do it in such a way that you're not scared you're going to flipping blow through 600 a day or something. So you set a low budget. And a lot of people will be like, you can't do much with a £10 a day budget, but you can learn all that data. So what I call it counting impressions. How often have the ads showed? Look at that. A load of people more people are looking for family solicitors than criminal lawyers or whatever. I count the impressions, and then the advanced bit is like, oh, where's the impression share? Divide the impressions by the impression share, and it gives me the estimated number of searches. Yeah. So when we did that so Solicitors London, we got, I can't remember how many impressions we got. We got a lot of impressions for Solicitors London, obviously, because London's huge. We got a similar number of impressions for Solicitors Birmingham. Birmingham isn't as big as London, but our impression share was a lot higher for Birmingham than it was for London because there was less competition. So,
Right.
but when we worked backwards, you go, oh, well, London actual estimated searches is really high. Birmingham is less, but actually we've got the same number of impressions. Isn't that interesting? Because there's less competition in Birmingham, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So with that, just on that, like, what kind of, that seems like it could give you quite a bit of like false information or like false flags, so to speak.
Oh, it can give you all
That,
sorts. Yeah, you've got to look at your keywords. When you bid on a keyword, so like if you just bid on journalism jobs without quotes around it, so it's not a phrase match,
yeah.
then you may show for all sorts of stuff. So you look at the keyword and go, oh, that keyword has got a load of impressions. But then when you look at the search terms are what people type into Google. You look at the search terms and go, oh God, I don't want to show for those and those. Those are garbage. So then you add those
Right.
as
Yeah.
negatives. You add those as negatives, or you put it into a phrase match or exact match the keyword, and then it tightens it up and you get less impressions. And then you look at your search terms and go, oh, those are better. So like previously you're thinking, whoa, I've hit the jackpot. There's a load of impressions, but actually it was for a load of junk.
Yeah, because one of the phrase, like they put forward these suggested phrases, and they say, I remember because I was trying to create a few campaigns, and I've just kind of parked it until I've learned a bit more or figured out like exactly what to do for like the first one. Now I'm pretty confident I can just set the campaign first and then configured the budget then afterwards, like you were saying. But they kept telling me, like, suggesting words, like use common words like, call now or book now. And I'm like, that's everything. Do you know what I mean? That's so generic. And like, I was like, you can't.
Yeah.
I can't consciously put that in, like, because it doesn't have any. I mean, you could book now for quite literally anything.
Right. Okay. So what you're doing there, and that's fine, is you're pointing at the page and it's pulling out suggestions. So, and I see all those keywords.
Yeah.
Right. That you've got. Right. So you've got the bit underneath where it says enter keywords, and you've got 7 keywords. Okay. First off, those are in broad match, which I don't recommend starting with. Broad match keywords.
How can you tell that?
There's no quotes or brackets around them.
Oh, I see. So I've actually just noticed that at the bottom there. Okay, so it has to be exact match with
not
quotes.
Necessarily. I typically start with phrase match, right? So phrase is a bit more precise than
like that.
Sorry, those are exact. I'd put right, but I would not even recommend putting all of these in. I'll explain. So you're going to try and write an ad. And what do you think your ad might be? Just like headline.
Well, at the moment, I'm not going to lie, this is our first one, right? Because all of our content has been organic, and we spent quite a while just trying to put out a bunch of different organic content to see what resonates and what people actually find useful. So, and that's mostly like how-to or instructional type of content. So at the moment, I'm just seeing like, because the main problem the journalists have is trying to find a job. So I'm just trying to see like what kind of, exactly like your thing was the other day. This is my first ad. So I want to just see broadly like what the traffic looks like in and around this space.
Okay. So what I'd recommend actually, if you go to tools and settings, that spanner on the there, over on the left, when you click on it over on the left, there'll be the keyword planner. So right click and open it in a new tab. So we just keep open the keyword planner in a new tab, so you keep this tab going.
Yeah, this might be a touch slow. Zoom doesn't like me. So it just, let's see, that should be, there we go. Okay. You can still see that, can you?
Yeah. So are you targeting people in the UK?
Globally, but yeah, like UK and the US and our primary markets for the moment, the English-speaking markets.
Yeah.
Anglophone markets.
Yeah. So when this comes up, so you can set the region and it'll give you the stats for that region. Often I will set it to so if you're just trying to target a county in the UK, I'd set it for the whole UK, just get the data of what people are searching for.
Yeah.
Not necessarily volumes. Right. So click on discover new keywords. Okay. So put journalist jobs and then press get results. Okay. Now that's set to Ireland by default. So you can change that little drop down.
Where did you see? Oh, up here. This is,
yeah. Went to it'll pop up, and then you can change that to being say UK or.
I'm actually going to change it to UK now, just for.
Yeah.
Ireland's just too small a market, really. Do I need to X this or?
You could do, or you could leave Ireland in there, so it's UK and Ireland.
Yeah.
And then also you could even add the US if you wanted.
Well, I just go with UK for now, right?
Yeah.
Right. Save.
Okay, and save that. So you've provided one keyword. So you see that over
This
in the
is
table.
my
It says,
keyword here.
yeah, and it's saying
Okay.
there's you've got it where you have a range. I get a bit more precise number. I don't really know why. I wonder if it's because I'm an agency and I manage more accounts, but that's fine. Like, look at
Is that here? This top
yeah.
of
Hold on.
page
Let me
bid?
just see if I can grab remote control first, so I can whiz around and show you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll just close this
it's
part
the
here.
connection with this. It might be a bit slow. That's the only thing.
Right.
So there, yeah.
We got journalist jobs. He reckons
Yeah.
monthly there's 1 to 10,000 searches a month.
Quite a range, you know.
It is quite a range. It just gives you a clue. Right,
like
so
if I had 1 to 10,000 customers a month, that would be very different forecasts. You know what I mean?
But for me, I'm like, and then this top of these bids, low and high range, they just give me a clue. And I'm like, oh, that's quite low compared, I'd say that's low, but you're going to get actual data. So I look at this and it just gives me a rough idea. And then I would load the ads and get actual data. So this is just a tool. But what I find it more useful for is it gives you all these other ideas. So you've got, right, so let's say it has to be jobs, sports writer jobs. Okay, where's that gone? There we go. Sports writer jobs. Like, is that close enough?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so maybe up here we'd add in writer jobs. Now it might pull back a load of junk, but that's how you start finding other ways people search for stuff. Now you wouldn't want freelance jobs because it's going to pull through too much other stuff.
Yeah,
freelance writing jobs. Now, is that close or not? That's starting to get into copywriting, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the nuance. That I'm not too, that I don't mind, right? Really what I'm actually kind of concerned about, and this has been my biggest concern, which comes back to the kind of point I made earlier, is that if you look at, let's say, the technical writer there, right? If you look at the bid range, it's from 90 cents to almost 10 euros. That's like a tenfold increase. It's a fivefold increase for just journalist jobs, all this stuff. So like, I guess, and I'm conscious of time, so I don't want to keep you too much longer. Well, I guess maybe parting words or just last bit of advice from you. But like, how do you manage this in such a way so that you sort of tend towards the lower end, I guess?
You're not necessarily tending towards the lower end. If like journalist jobs was bang on, oh, that's exactly who we help. People looking for journalist jobs.
Right.
You might be prepared to pay more for those clicks than people looking for freelance writing jobs.
Oh yeah, well if it converts, the cost per click, it doesn't matter because we make it up, with the revenue of actual conversion. So, but it's more like for, I guess then, how do you, how do you maximize conversions? Is like, how do you, how long does it drink?
I think I think you're going too far ahead of yourself at the moment, right? So at the moment, you want to find out what are people searching for. So this is giving you an idea of the phrases they're using. You grab the ones that you think are relevant. You look at this and you go, oh, that's interesting. That seems to be 10 times that. But so what? It's like, just because Google's this little tool says it doesn't mean that's what you're going to get, And sometimes, so technical writer says 1 to 10K. What if that was 10K searches and this was only 1K searches a month? And so you have to load the campaigns. Me personally, I'll be looking at it going, oh, right, what are the good ones? So we've got writer jobs, journalist jobs, you've got technical writer. Yeah. And let's grab all the things that I think are useful. And I'm going to, and then create an ad for each. And it could be a bit tedious, or you could create one ad and put all the keywords in it. But what you want to do, ideally, and understand that when you're doing it by hand, you might have gone, do 10 by hand. Once you've done 10, you know how to create ads, right? But you have one.
I don't mind doing it manually first and then learning and then automating, because that's, I would do that for anything really.
Do it until you're bored of doing it by hand, right? So what you're going to do is load each keyword into its own ad group. and you name the ad group after the keyword. This is in my 5-minute video. I show how I do it, and I just copy that ad group with the ad and the keyword in it, and I go and change the keyword and change the ad and change the ad group name. Boom, copy it again. And so what you're going to say, so if somebody's looking for journalist jobs, your ad should say journalist jobs headline. Somebody's looking for technical writer. No, hold on. So we don't want technical writer. We want technical writer jobs or something like that. Okay, your ad is then going to say technical writer jobs. All right, so you just match what they typed in and you put it in the ad. Now, what I was saying when we looked at you had like 7 keywords in one ad group. You were then going to try and write an ad to match all of them. It was going to be impossible. Whereas if you'd separated each into their own ad group, you could then write an ad for each. All right, but what you want to do is you load these with phrase match. You put quotes around it, so at least you're a bit more targeted. But then you look at your search terms coming through and go, oh, that's really poor. You might go to an exact match or something like that. We put the brackets around it. So I look at that and I go, oh, those are they're fairly low, top of page bid estimates. Let's load it, load all the keywords, have keyword bid prices of €1 across the board, have a budget of 10 a day, knowing that it could take 20 in any given day, but it will try and average a 10 a day through the month. So that would be 300 a month, or you could put it at 5. And then, so you've got your 10 ad groups created, you've got your one budget of £5 a day, whatever, and a €1 bid price across everything. And you might find that actually technical writer jobs does fine at a €1 bid price. And that this is like just, is inaccurate. These are just estimates, right? And you might find that journalist jobs actually is a bit more competitive. Yeah. So you just load it and then you get the data. And that's what, so I'll go in depth with some little carousels and videos and whatnot, explain that. But if you go and watch that 5-minute video, it will show you
on your LinkedIn, is it?
Yeah, I've put it up on LinkedIn as my featured post. It's up on my YouTube channel as well.
Oh, I'll check it out. Yeah.
I've tried to make it as short as possible. I want to get people up and running. Then I do have a video somewhere, which I will redo, of how to then look at your stats, find the columns like the impression share metric and all this sort of stuff. So you can look at it and go, oh, look, that's got like 1,000 impressions and it's got a 20% impression share. Ooh, that means there were 5,000 searches. That's interesting. That one's got a lot more. That one's got 1,000 impressions as well, but that's 100% impression share. Probably won't get 100, but okay. So there's more volume in the other one. But for my current bid price, I'm only showing for 20% for that one. It's obviously a bit more competitive. Yeah. And what you can end up then doing is if you look at how much you've lost due to budget, impression share, you go, right, for my 10 a day, you know what, I can turn off 10 of those ad groups and just focus all my budget to one because that one seems to have the most potential. And then you go from trying to get your ad show and counting impressions to going, right, now I'm focusing on getting clicks. So I want the clicks all to be for the very same search intent instead of spread across 10 different types. And now as soon as you do that, you look at your ad and go, oh, you know what, I could write a better ad for that. And I look at my landing page. Oh, I don't even mention journalist jobs on the landing page. Now I'm looking at it properly and I've focused on one ad group and one keyword and one ad. Yeah. And then by doing that, you still £5 a day, 10 a day budget, maybe not even spending it, but it focuses your mind, right? And what you're trying to do is get profitable or get it working with one ad group. And all those learnings of, oh, my landing page needs to do this. My button doesn't even work. The this, the that, the whatever. Once you've got that working for one, you can then potentially go and turn on the other ad groups, knowing, I probably need a whole landing page for that. Or, okay, they will go to the page. It could work if I add this to the subheading or something on the page. So what you want to try to do is trying to get profitable as quick as you can on as low an ad spend as you can. Then once you are, you then whatever blueprint you've come up with, you then apply it to other ones. And as you're going, you will start seeing search terms coming through where literally it might be journalist jobs, London, journalist jobs, Edinburgh, journalist jobs. And you're like, oh, that inspired me to create a whole campaign for all the major cities in the UK now, So you've got journalist jobs in one ad group and it's fed you that data and you go, you know what, all my clicks are coming from, or a lot of impressions. So I'm going to drill down now and go longer tail. And in which case, if you do that, you may want to add those locations as negatives to your original journalist jobs ad group.
To avoid them.
Yeah, so it sends them over to the ones where it's journalist jobs London.
Right.
And then what you're going to write for your ad, you might then want to put London journalist jobs in your ad. to make it more
Yeah.
specific. And then you'll
Yeah.
do better than the competition, better than your other ad. But then when you look at your landing page, it's like, oh God, I don't mention London, do I?
Yeah. Okay.
So,
And that just to clarify that point then. So as you're creating each campaign, let's say we wanted to do, like target like whatever the 6 biggest cities in the UK or something like that. You just do one individual campaign for each. That's what you're saying would be a better suggestion.
Right. So I would recommend you look through all this, find the ones where it has jobs.
Yeah.
Or maybe they use the word gigs or work or stuff like, I don't know. You go through that. You can have a filter here. You can do a little filter like this.
Yeah.
Okay. You can do a little filter where the keyword contains the word jobs. Cool. And it just shows all the jobs on. Brilliant.
Yeah. That's
so
fine.
You go through that. You go, these are likely candidates of people who I can help. If I can get these people to my website, I can help these guys. Right. So then you load all those with in phrase match. 1 keyword per ad group. It's going to be tedious. So you might do 10. That's fine. 10 a day budget. And then you either get impressions or you don't. If you out your €1 budget across all the keywords. Okay. And if you don't get any, you go, oh, maybe I should increase the bids. I wonder if I'm not bidding enough. If you're bidding like €5 and you're still not getting impressions and looking at these bid prices, then it's like, okay, something is wrong or there's nobody searching. If you start getting impressions, you're going to see some are going to rise to the top. It's like, oh, this will get more impressions than that. So like journalist jobs gets more than freelance writing jobs or whatever. Probably the other way around, I would guess. But but like, oh, I could help freelance writers. But it might be so much more freelance writing jobs than journalist jobs that you actually go, you know what, I'm going to pivot my whole flipping business and website to cater to them. Maybe.
Because it just gets more volume of traffic down that sort of whatever search.
Yeah, so this is data is informing you as a business owner, so that you can change your offering to match. Right, so imagine they're all running down a hill.
Yeah,
right. There's like loads of hills and people running down them. And you're like, oh, I'm going to stand at the bottom of that one and catch all these people because there's loads of them. But so what am I going to catch them with? Right, I'm going to change my page instead of talking about journalism jobs. This is how you get freelance writing jobs. If you like into sports and whatever, you might then do that. So your landing page kind of will develop to match what people are searching
to reflect
for.
What you're gotcha.
Understood. Whereas like often it's the other way around, and this is what Google would rather you, so their AI tools can be helpful later on once you've figured out, oh, this is what works. Now Google, go and maximize conversions. I've built the page and I think this is what most people are looking for and this is what appeals. You split test the ads, you found out that actually cheap isn't a good word, affordable is a better word, whatever, all this sort of stuff. You reflect that in your landing page, then you can go and get Google's algorithm to try and get you more volume. But if you go and slap up a page based on what you think the market's looking for and then tell Google to go and get your stuff, it may or may not, it may work, but like you might have, if you tweaked your page and it was talking more about freelance writing jobs, maybe Google could do a better job for you. So that's why I recommend you start doing everything manually. Plus when you learn it, like you already said, if you load it up yourself manually and you get, okay, I know how to do this now, I'd like Google to do it for me or whatever. And you look at the ads Google creates, you're like, oh, they're quite good. Or you go, no, I don't like them. I'll take it back. I'll take control back, whatever. So
that's absolutely it. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time. I know we've gone a little bit over, but listen, thank you so much for sharing and even just the content before we were sat down. So thanks for all of that. It's great. Definitely helps me. So at the very least, you're helping one person.
Well, that's all. It starts one at a time, doesn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So and then what I've learned from it is there's various videos that I need to create after the one you're going to go and watch, the 5-minute one, like how to unhide these columns.
Like me. Yeah. Just put big pictures, lots of colors, and use simple words, and people like me will survive.
Actually, you go and watch that one and give me feedback on whether I moved too fast in it. Some people said it's great. Somebody said it was too quick and frantic for them, but I think you'll manage because you're already creating campaigns. So
yeah, fair enough. And if you need, as I said, like I'm happy to help out. We're starting out on our journey, but our whole ethos is creating communities. So if you need anything equally, whether it's feedback on a video or anything like that, feel free to just shoot something over. I'm happy to just give you my 2 cents. I'm happy to help, and I appreciate all the time you've taken.
Brilliant. All right, nice to speak to you, John.
All right, cheers mate. Thanks very much.